and welcome to Tyra Mini Reads, Reviews, Discusses, monologues about everything and anything, and that's on period. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about two books that one I finished or I did a reread, and the other I am like halfway through, but I think, now's a good enough time to actually talk about them. And that would be The Will of the Many by James Islington and Islington, I'm sorry, and The Strain of the Few by the same. So this book came out 2023, I think, or 2024. I can't really. Yeah, 2023. So this came out 2023. So Strength of the Few came out 2025. So when this book came out, I decided to reread The Will of the Many because I just felt like, it's been a while since I read the books, and I wanted to let's see if I can put this in frame. Okay, and basically I just wanted to, I guess, refresh my memory and kind of, start from there. So I reread Will of the Many, and I want to say that my reading experience was a bit different from the first time around. Now, the first time around, the book was really interesting, and I was definitely like reading through the book too fast to, I guess, ruminate on stuff. And because I really wanted to find out, what was happening to what the heck was happening to this. So I raced through this book. Now, when I read this 2 years, when I just finished reading this now, I obviously had a different perspective of the book. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say the book was really good. I'm not taking away from how good this book was. It's just that now that I am kind of halfway into Strand of the Few, how do I say this? My enjoyment of this book has kind of been like womp womp, a little. Don't bother me. But you get if you've read both books, you kind of get what I'm saying, right? Because, and this is going to be a little spoilery, or maybe a lot spoilery, so please read the books first. But when we meet Viz in this book, right? Viz is someone that we quickly realize that he is someone that is, his identity is very, suspicious or is mysterious. But basically, where he is right now, he must not be found by the current circumstances or the current society, basically. So he is a fugitive hiding in plain sight, basically, right? And so I think when I read this book the first time, I really thought that Viz's identity was integral to the story, like to where we were going with the story. But getting to Strand of the Few, I see that that's not really the case. Yes, it would be bad if his cover is blown, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I don't know if that makes sense, right? So I think that's one thing that really was like, because I really thought like, oh my God, like whatever his identity is, that like it's such a big deal. It is a big deal. I mean, going by this book, yeah, it's a big deal, but it's not like, that's not like the list. That's not like the worst thing that could happen, basically. If like, that's what I think, right? There are other things that he could have done that's actually worse than his identity. But in book one, it's like a reoccurring theme, because in book one, Viz has two motivations. One, he's trying to protect his identity. And two, he is trying not to cede his will. So in this society, world, setup, whatever, we have the oppressors who, conquered a lot of villages, towns, countries, and, made it mandatory that everybody from the age of 18 has to cede their will. There's a ceremony that's done. And so people have to once they turn 18, or if they're over 18, they have to go do the ceremony and they cede their will. What does the ceding will mean? It's like, I have a will to live. I have a will to do things. I have a will to read a book, so it's like a life force kind of. And so you cede, let's say like a quarter of your life force to someone else. what happens is that someone else gets stronger based on the fact that they are receiving will from you. So they have a pyramid scheme kind of society where the first person at the top of the pyramid is called a princeps, and he receives will from about 40,000 people. The next person is a demidius, who receives will from about 20K people. And then, goes down. We have a Tertius, a Quintus, a Quartus, I think, Septimus. And I hope I got that right. But basically, that's like the pyramid scheme. So the people who seed their wills are called Octavius. They're the seeders. And then the other people that I mentioned are the one who received this power. So this, like I said, is on the run, and he has his two motivations: doesn't want to give up his identity and does not want to cede his will. The reason why I said that this book now is a bit different is because when we get here, those 2 points are not as important, and I'm a little miffed about it, because that was really like the biggest thing for this book. Like it was like a race to the finish. Like, oh my God, is he going to be okay? Is his secret okay? And to be quite honest, on reread, there was never really a time where, it felt like, his identity was being threatened. It felt like, but well, I don't know. I can't really say, but I don't feel like the people who were, threatening him would have taken that next step. I don't think so. I think, he could have maybe stood his ground and called their bluff. But I think those were like his two really, really, really strong motivations. And Viz, to some degree, was smart, but wasn't as smart on second reread, because I feel like there were points where he probably could have been more proactive and finding a way out of the situation that he found himself in. But he did not. Everything he did was because I don't want these people to reveal my identity. I don't want this person to make me do this, So it kind of made him seem a little, just, I don't know the word, less proactive in a way, and just kind of going along with the flow. Basically, that's kind of like what it felt. When we get here, though, the stakes are a bit different. It's a whole different kind of story or whatever. And what I don't like about this book, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read this, as you can see, I'm actually, I'm like halfway, right? I'm not even finished. And isn't this cute? This is from Eyes of the Ember Dark. But anyways, focus. I'm halfway-ish, or a little less than halfway. But I have problems with the way this book is written, right? I'm not going to spoil it, but we follow 3 kind of perspectives. And this is not something I'm spoiling, but even in like the description on the cover, it says, a different version of myself in each of Obithium, Lucium, and Res. So basically we are following 3 POVs of the same person, but in Obithium, Lucium, and Res. I think my fave was Res, as of now. Obithium and Lucium Lucium is my least fave, and Obithium is probably my second, but it's like my second because it doesn't have any better option. So basically I could just say Obithium and Lucium are pretty much on the same level right now. But here's my problem is, and this is why sometimes I don't really like reading books with different POVs, because you leave one POV that's like, oh my God, I want to know what's happened next. And he just flips you to somewhere else. And it's also a bit super confusing keeping track of the POVs or the personalities. It's a bit confusing. I don't know. And like I said, 2 of the major points in Strength of the in Will of the Many now kind of become mutes in this book. So I don't know. And we do get a glimpse into a much bigger expansion of the world, and we see that, oh, okay, there's actually a bad guy. Oh, okay, that's not something that was kind of intimated before. So I really did like that kind of soft, like, oh, there's someone pulling the strings behind the curtain, and this is someone to look out for. A lot of the things or the dynamics of this book is still a bit confusing. But, it's still, like I said, I'm halfway through. So, but I don't know how I will feel at the end of the book because of the reasons that I have just mentioned. I don't like the switching of the POVs. At the same time, to be quite honest, it kind of feels like stuff is being dragged just to make a book. Like what I'm saying is we could get the story faster instead of wasting time with what we're doing with the three POVs. That's just my point. Okay. But I will keep going. And I think this is set to be 4 books. So you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, I don't know. And I did hear that, Strand of the Few is getting adapted into a TV show, movie, not sure, but it is getting adapted. So that's good news. Will definitely be interested in watching, whatever comes out of it. But hopefully I'm praying, that he closes it. And I'm praying that Strand of the Few is actually really, really good. But the points I mentioned, yeah, I just don't know where I stand. But I have to finish the book first. I'll probably come back on here and, give a really quick, I guess, whatever my thoughts was after I finished reading the book. But yeah, that's Strand of the Few. And little rants, but who's annoyed or who gets annoyed when this happens, right? Look at the covers. This was when We Love the Many came out 2 years ago. They had this really cute cover, which I'm not opposed, right? It's cute. It gives us like this Greek-ish kind of thing. And this is the column, the Aurora column, where they go and see their real blah, 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 the ceremony. And then we have this, which is in line with what's happening, but it's not the same concept. I'm really annoyed when they do this mid-book. And so it's like I have to get a new cover for this or I have to buy a new book. I'm not doing that. But it just makes it look so irregular and they don't look the same, right? But this was the original cover, and they have since remade this. I'll put up what they made it to be, which matches more of this, but I'm like, I'm stuck with this and I'm not changing it. But that's just my personal preference or a little pet peeve. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Will of the Many, the Hierarchy series. Let me know if you've read it, if you finished Strand of the Few. What were your thoughts? What do you think? But yeah, this was actually fun to talk about. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, bye.